Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal-mursaleen. Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd, ikhwatul islami ibadallah. I don't want to be too long-winded with this particular video, so I'm going to go straight into the issue. And first, I want to commence this video by reading the statement of Ibn al-Jawziyya from his book Zad al-Ma'ad. And he was bringing some of the fawaid that is extracted from the Silh of Hudaybiyah. And so he says, and first and foremost, brothers, please excuse me, I'm tired. I've been up all day, so if I seem a little out of energy, that's the reason why. But at any rate, Ibn Qayyim, and I'm translating as I'm reading, he stated, undoubtedly the mushrikeen wa ahlul bid'i wal fujur, and the people of innovation and sinfulness, and the transgressors and or oppressive, if they request an affair, if they're requesting something that is considered to be have within it exaltation of the hurma min hurumatillah, then we respond to their request and give them from that which, what they're requesting, and we assist them upon that, even if they prevent something aside from that. We consequently assist in that which is considered to be exaltation of the hurumatillah. That's what we do. We assist or cooperate, however you want to translate it, as it relates to the hurumatillah. We do not assist or cooperate upon or in accordance with or upon or for the purpose of their disbelief nor their transgression. And if they prevent what is besides that, وَيُمْنَعُونَ مِمَّا سَوَى ذَلِكَ. So he continues, فَكُلُّ, so whomever, everyone from whoever solicits aid and or assistance or cooperation upon what is beloved to Allah and that which He is pleased with, then there is a response to that, regardless of who the person who's making the request may be, as long as that does not result from assisting or cooperating upon that thing which is loved. As long as that which does not result from that is something that is hated by Allah, that which is greater than that which is loved by Allah. And I'm going to stop right there. What Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya is stating is clear. It's clear as it relates to its meaning. That regardless if your background may be idolatry, or your background may be someone who was upon innovation, someone who's upon sinfulness, and thus forth and so on, if there is a circumstance where there is are reaching out for help and or assistance and the cooperation, and that which Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya mentioned, from that which is from the hurumatillah, then the believer can cooperate in establishing that which is beloved to Allah. That's clear in what he just said. Now, the reason why I say this, I did a recent video titled, These Du'at Get a honorable mention or deserve an honorable mention or whatever, however it was worded. Within that video, I made a statement where I said that the Muslim, in terms of assisting other Muslims, that a Muslim could assist any Muslim if it is assisting upon Birr and Taqwa, or cooperation upon Birr and Taqwa, regardless of what their minhaj may be. So one of our brothers, Siddiq al-Jiyani specifically, he sent me a video of a fatwa of Sheikh Fawzan, where Sheikh Fawzan, Hafidhullah, he states that at-ta'awun with the people of innovation, it is ta'awun al-ithmi wal-udwan, right? And of course, al-Jiyani sent me this video because he, without a doubt, wants good for me, and he knows that I have enemies that would try to take advantage of things that I may say in my videos to attack me. I mean, at one point I had somebody put my name on Twitter, haphazardly. So I do have people that have taken it upon themselves to declare, to put themselves in the position of being an enemy of mine. And of course, I'm clear that the brother doesn't want to see me attacked in that manner. So that's why I believe he sent me the video. At any rate, when it comes to what I said in the initial video that I'm referring to, one, what I said did not necessitate the relinquishing of the truth in any way whatsoever. It did not negate the asl of the Sunni with the people of innovation and how we deal with them in any way whatsoever. It didn't negate the clarifying the evils of the people of innovation in any way whatsoever. It didn't negate the advising the people of innovation to leave off their batil in any way whatsoever. And it didn't necessitate the assisting them in spreading their filth and spreading their falsehood. My statement didn't necessitate that at all. And second, when it comes to the fatwa of Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, I'm not exactly sure what premise the Sheikh was coming from, and I'm not trying to explain what his premise was. For those that need further clarity and understanding of why he said what he said, then you need to go back to the Sheikh. It could be several reasons. It could be the people that, the type of people that was in front of him, because certain crowd scholars are not going to go into intricacies, and it may be a situation like where the Prophet ﷺ gave two different answers to two different fasting people. The young person who was fasting, as it relates to interactions with his wife, he gave one answer to, and then another person, the Sheikh, as it relates to interactions with his wife, he gave a different answer to. And on the Dhahir, it may seem contradictory, but he was looking at the condition of the people that he was talking to. So it could be a situation like that. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala knows best. Again, the Sheikh will have to be questioned as it relates to why he said what he said. He's still alive. However, I do want to bring attention to something the Sheikh said, and if you give me a second, because I have it on my computer, if you give me a second to find it, that will give clarity to the reality that it's not looked at in a black and white manner that may be interpreted by some based off that fatwa. Now, what I'm going to read from is the first muqaddimah, the first introduction to Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan's book, Al-I'lam bi Naqd Kitab al-Halal wal-Haram fil Islam. And this was Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan's criticism of the book Al-Halal wal-Haram fil Islam by Yusuf al-Qaradawi. And for those who are aware of who Yusuf al-Qaradawi is, then I don't need to explain anything. For those who are unaware, la best, this may not even be for you. But the Sheikh, he states, undoubtedly I have examined the book, and I'm translating once again, I have examined the book or looked at the book that was authored by Fadilatul Shaykh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Fadilatul Shaykh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. This is the Kalam al-Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan now. I have looked at the book that was authored by the virtuous scholar Yusuf al-Qaradawi, that he titled or dubbed Al-Halal wal-Haram fil Islam, and included within it are an abundance of fiqh-related issues as relates to the ahkam of transactions and food and other than that. And I found that it, within this book, had contradictions in varying places, in many places. And then he starts to mention some, and I'm going to skip that because that's not really of importance. Well, for the video, it's not of importance, where the mistakes are at. But there are many. He lists many. So then he states, after mentioning several mistakes, I think he mentioned well over 10, he says, thus keeping in accordance with what is obligatory from advice, and the love for cooperating upon Birr and Taqwa, then we announce or inform, we give an announcement or we inform about these mistakes, so that perhaps, or in order for the author to return to return back to this particular book, as relates to examination, and correct these mistakes. Now keep in mind, Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan referred to what he was doing not only as nasiha, but love and cooperating upon Birr and Taqwa. And again, what is this cooperation upon Birr and Taqwa concerning? It's concerning the book of, as he referred to as, Fadilatul Shaykh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. That Yusuf al-Qaradawi can correct his book and continue to distribute it to the people. Now imagine if I did that with someone like Siraj Wahaj, without writing a book but getting at him in private and saying, listen, I see all these mistakes in your book. Here, I want to give you this. These are the mistakes, with the hopes that you correct your book, and when a new edition comes out, it has these corrections. What would I be called if I did that? Would that be understood to be cooperating upon Birr and Taqwa with some of the haphazard in the U.S. today that seem to have a different standard of Salafiyya than these scholars? Would it be called that? Or would there be negative things attributed to me and attempted attacks and thus forth and so on? When you read these things, you start to see where people are actually distant from the example of the scholars that they claim to have a connection to. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala knows best. So, the point that I'm making when it comes to this is that, we see an example of Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, cooperating upon Birr wa Taqwa. And my statement in the initial video wasn't really about that issue. That's why there was no intricacies made concerning that. My video was about, when I brought that up, I brought a correlation between, if we can do this with any Muslim regardless of what his minhaj is upon, then isn't it awla, more appropriate, that Salafi callers, some that are perceived to have made mistakes, and forget the perceived to have made mistakes stuff, some that may have legitimate mistakes, isn't it more appropriate that we be like this with each other? That was the premise of why I said that. That's why there was no details given to what I was saying. However, I want to read a statement, and I'm not going to say who made the statement. I'm just going to read the statement, and then I'm going to say who made the statement. There's a statement of a personality which says, نرى وجوب التعاون مع أي مسلم في الحق ونبرأ إلى الله من الدعوات الجاهلية. He states, we hold the opinion of the obligation of ta'awun, assisting or cooperating with any Muslim as pertains to the truth. As pertains to the truth. And we free ourselves with Allah from ignorant related type or ignorant type propaganda or cause or dawah, and thus forth and so on. The heavy emphasis on a Muslim, and then there is no explanation or intricacies given after that. This is the kalam of Sheikh Muqbil ibn Hadi al-Wadi'i, yani from his book. Let me scroll back up because this book is I have his book on computer. Aqeedah, Da'watuna wa Aqeedatuna. This is from that book, point 13. He makes this particular statement at point 13. And so, again, there is no detail besides what the Sheikh just said. So is that statement of the Sheikh an incorrect statement? Is it an incorrect statement? For the person that understands what is intended by the statement, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, then we have to say, no, that's not an incorrect statement. You can cooperate with any Muslim as pertains to the truth. This statement is exactly in accordance with the statement of Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya that I opened up with. It's exactly in accordance with that statement. So that's another thing. But then there are two fatwas of al-Lajna ad-Da'ima. And in fact, for the sake of time, because I can see how much time I'm taking on this recording, I'm going to read one fatwa from them, and then I'm going to go to another fatwa, Sheikh al-Albani, and just close it out with that particular fatwa. And keep in mind, I have fatwas of Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Uthaymeen, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, and others on the same subject, and they're all consistent. They're all consistent in what's being said. That cooperation with any Muslim upon birr wa taqwa, it has to really be upon birr wa taqwa, can be done. Yani, in other words, if there is a maslahah in working with a Muslim in achieving a particular thing, then it can be done. And that would be ta'awun ala al-birri wa taqwa. Alright, so here is the question of the legend, and I'm on their website now. Here's the question. In the Islamic world today, there are various sects and paths of Sufiya, for example, and there is Jama'at al-Tabligh, and there is al-Ikhwan al-Muslimin, and there is the Sunnis and the Shia. So what of these groups do we apply? Oh, excuse me, which one of these groups actually applies the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So the legend responds, the closest Jama'ah al-Islamiyya ila al-Haq, the closest Islamic group to the truth, and those that are aspiring to implement the truth, is Ahlul Sunnah, and they are Ahlul Hadith. And the Jama'ah of Ansar Sunnah. And then after them is Al-Ikhwan al-Muslimin. And then they continue, and in general, every group or sect from these varying groups that were mentioned, of course, and others besides them, have within them that which is correct and that which is mistaken. فعليك بالتعاون معها فيما عندها من الصواب. Thus it is incumbent upon you to cooperate with them in that which is with them of the truth, that which is correct, and to avoid whatsoever they have fallen into from mistakes. And this is along with advice, giving advice to them, obviously for the mistakes that they're upon. وَالتَّعَاوُنْ عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, and cooperating and or assisting upon al-birr wa taqwa. And there are several other fatwas where questions are similar to this and the same answers are given. From al-Lajna ad-Da'ima. A person could do a Google search on that. This was signed by Sheikh Abdulaziz ibn Baz, Sheikh Abdullah al-Ghurayan, Sheikh Abdul Razak Afifi, and thus forth and so on. As for the fatwa of Sheikh al-Albani, I know I have it here somewhere. Let me see if I can pull it up. I have it here somewhere. Sheikh al-Albani was asked the following: is it allowed to cooperate with a man that is Ash'ari in Aqidah as relates to calling to Allah, with the justification that this difference in Aqidah does not lead to vice? On the contrary, not cooperating with him could lead to splitting apart the efforts of the Muslims. So this is the question. The Shaykh, he responds, if ta'awun, cooperation with the likes of this type of man, does not lead to assistance or cooperation with him in negligence, being negligent as it relates to his aqidah, and I would assume what he means by negligence, meaning negligence in warning him or advising him from being upon that aqidah, he states, then that is from what is permissible without doubt. On the contrary, I hold the opinion that the strong al-mu'min al-qawi, the mu'min that is strong in al-iman, that from the masalih of his deen, from the deen related benefits, is that he cooperates with the Muslim, with other Muslims, those that have inhiraf, deviation from the Salafi Aqidah with them, from one reason, from the varying reasons that are old or that are old or contemporary. He says, al-awla bihadha al-mu'min al-salafi an yata'awana ma'a ha'ula. What is the most appropriate for this believing Salafi is that he cooperates with these types of people on account that he will find an opportunity that is suitable to convey the da'wah to Salafiyya to this type of individual. He continues. I lost where I was at. Hold on for 1 second. He continues, and that which took place, and we know this from experience, is that those who oppose the Salafi Aqidah وَالَّذِي وَقَعَ وَنَعْرِفْ. Okay, so that which has occurred, and we know this by way of experience, is that those who oppose, obviously, the Salafi Aqidah, their position as it relates to this righteous believing Salafi would be one of two affairs. Either they're going to respond to his da'wah and lean towards acceptance of the madhab of the Salaf, and they deviate away from the madhab of the Khalaf, and that has happened quite often, or they'll either reject yani his call, his ideology, that reject or refuse the madhab, and so the affair is going to return back to one of these two things. Excuse me. Either they answer his dawah, so they're inclined. At any rate, this was the fatwa of Sheikh al-Albani. Yani they will reject his madhab and reject dealing with him. There's a translation here. I don't like the translation. Rather, the matter returns to him and not to them. At any rate, but this is the fatwa of Sheikh al-Albani as it relates to at-ta'awun ma'a Muslim. And so what I was basically said in that video wasn't me coming from my back pocket or me putting forth my own opinion in this matter. These are things that I learned, basically. And that's what I expressed. That's what I expressed in the video. And so, am I backtracking from what I said in the video? No, just based off some of these fatwas, not even all the fatwas that I have with me. Not only am I not backtracking, but I'm standing on what I said, and my understanding is coming from these scholars. And I won't take up too much time because it's way past my bedtime, and the video is already much longer than I expected it to be. With that, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.